What's going on, everybody? This is Island Hopper TV, and today we're going to talk about the best things to do in St. Thomas. Let's do it.
That's right, Island Hoppers. We have 25 things for you to do while in St. Thomas in the U.S. Virgin Islands. And now let's get into the list.
We have arrived at the beautiful Magens Bay.
This horseshoe-shaped bay is one of the most popular tourist destinations in all of USVI, and the white sand beaches stretch for quite a long ways, with locals and tourists finding this to be their favorite beach. For many, you can sunbathe here, do water sports, watch the pelicans dive bomb for fish while there, relax in the water in this sapphire blue, crystal clear water that's here, very gentle waves. Perfect for sunbathing, swimming, picnicking. Unlike most beaches in the USVI, this one actually has a lot of parking room available, so that shouldn't be a problem for most of you. It is $7 per person and parking is $2. Children 12 and under are admitted for free. Seniors and active military are also going to receive a discount, but must bring a valid ID.
This here is Coki Beach, where I'm going to show you around here.
Coki Beach is another famous beach here in St. Thomas. It's a little bit smaller, but it's got more of that party vibe. They have several different tiki bars, and you're definitely going to notice it's a bit more upbeat. So if you're looking for relaxing, you go to Magens. If you're looking for party and upbeat vibes, you come over here to Coki Beach. But I wanted to point them both out to you just because different strokes for different folks, right? Parking can be limited at Coki Beach, and they do offer $5 parking if it's available, so take that into consideration. They have other activities like snorkeling here, where they have snorkel rentals. If you just go up to the top in between Coral World and the beach, you'll see there is a guy who does snorkel rentals. He does fins as well, so you may want to check that out when you're there. This is actually one of the most famous places on the island to snorkel, unless you get on a catamaran and go out to the absolute best places.
Here we are at Coral World.
General admission to enter into the ocean park here is $29 for adults, $17 for children. If you wanted a Coral World guided tour, you can ask about that as well. They do offer that. And then they have the Dolphin Splash, which is about $182 per person. And if you wanted to have just a dolphin moment or an encounter, that's $119. So that would be in addition to the park admission. But if you just wanted to go around the park, it is $29. I just did the general admission, but I did talk to people who were doing the dolphin encounter, and they said they loved it. And they said the dolphins were happy, at least that's what the reviews from the people who did it said. Along with sharks and rays, they also had some green sea turtles. I read an account there that when sailors arrived from Europe first time to the Caribbean, they said there was swarms of green sea turtles in the water. Obviously today there isn't, unfortunately. But it was amazing for me to think about the amount of marine biodiversity there was when these Virgin Islands were untouched. They also have a Coral World sea trek where you can get in the water and have a immersive dive experience. You'll see them in the water, and there's lots of fish down there, lots of tuna, tarpon, and other types of fish. I didn't hear anyone say they saw any sharks or anything down there, but I wouldn't be surprised if occasionally some reef sharks do show up. All right, what we'll do now is we'll work our way around the far east end of St. Thomas.
This beautiful blue water beach is called Lindquist Beach.
Now, the reason I put Lindquist on here is because this is my personal favorite area to do swimming. There's about 2 on the island. This is one of them. The other one I'll be showing you a little bit later on. It's called Brewers Bay. But the water here is very relaxing and it's crystal clear, as you can see. Just a very nice place to relax. You got views looking out towards Tortola, British Virgin Islands. You even got St. John off in the distance and several other USVI. One great way to get around St. Thomas and see other islands is by jet ski, so consider renting one of those.
This here is the Charlotte Amalie Lookout.
Now let's talk about lookout points. This one obviously is looking out towards Charlotte Amalie. This is the south. On a clear day, you can see St. Croix, but great views up here at this lookout point. People like to come up here and take pictures.
Now here we are at Drake's Seat.
Drake's Seat faces out towards the north, so you can see Jost Van Dyke and the British Virgin Islands. Also looking down into Magens Bay, so you get a great shot from up above of that tranquil sapphire blue water down there. And the reason it's called Drake's Seat is because up above there is an actual seat, and it's named after Sir Francis Drake, who's also got his name in San Francisco, California, and several other places across the country.
Here we are now at the top of the mountain at Phantasea Botanical Garden.
Phantasea is open Tuesday to Sunday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The admission price is $10 for adults and $5 for children. If those children are between 5 and 12, it is free, but it's a very nice botanical garden up here on the high elevation of USVI. Also, if you guys are planning to visit the US Virgin Islands and you're interested in going over to the British Virgin Islands, which are really just a 25-minute ferry ride away from St. John, we did make a full travel guide about the BVI, everything you need to know as well. And we will be making some more travel guides related to comparing USVI versus BVI. So check the comments below and the link description, and we'll have those videos there. I personally did Tortola, Virgin Gorda, Jost Van Dyke, and several of the other islands around the BVI. And I would say if you are coming out here for more than a week, it would be worth it at least making a day trip over to BVI. So again, check the link description below. And just down the road from the Phantasea Botanical Garden is the mountaintop home of the world famous banana daiquiri. They say they've sold over 7 million worldwide, and that number just keeps going up because I know that when you go there, you're probably going to have one as well. You do get great views looking down towards Magens Bay again from up here. They have a lot of shopping that you can do. I would say some of the coolest clothes or apparel, souvenirs are right up here at the mountaintop. So that's one thing that I would say if you're looking for some USVI souvenirs, this will probably be one of those places you'll want to shop. And here is a look at that great view looking down.
This beautiful beach here is called Brewers Bay. Very relaxing.
And as you remember on the segment where we talked about Lindquist, I said that this is one of two beaches that are my favorite, Brewers Bay being the other one. The good thing about Brewers Bay is there is no admission fee that you have to pay for parking, and you can see the waves, the water, equally as nice. It does get a bit crowded and parking can be limited because there is no admission fee. It is right next to the airport. That's something that may or may not be okay with you, but either way, still a very nice place to do a morning swim in my opinion. Up the hill a bit from Brewers, there is a nice lookout point where you can do some better plane spotting.
Headed to Water Island, and I stopped in for a Bloody Mary and some chicken wings.
Yeah, so the Water Island ferry here, it is $15. That's a visitor round trip ticket. If you are a USVI resident, it's $10 per person. Kids are $5 for round trip, but you would take it from St. Thomas over to the Phillips Landing on Water Island. And then from there, they have a free taxi that takes you over to some of the beaches, Dinghy Beach, where they have a beach bar. You can also rent golf carts here. Those prices vary depending on if you want it for an hour or if you want it all day. You're definitely going to save more money if you get it for all day. But this is a cool place to hang out. They do have a couple different lookout points, some history here.
Now here we are at Dinghy Beach. This is actually on Water Island.
When it comes to party, just daytime partying or maybe even evening partying, it seems like Dinghy Beach is where all of the real OG party people go, so take that into consideration if you're looking for some daytime party. You'd probably find it over at Coki Beach or here, maybe a little bit in Red Hook, but between those three places, that's where you're going to find most of the party scene. But Dinghy Beach definitely has it. They do offer some rentals here, such as lounge chairs, which are $10, umbrellas $10, hammocks for $10, paddle boards for $25 per hour, and you pay at the bar, but you must return it by 4:30 p.m. because for the most part, Dinghy Beach starts closing down as the sun goes down, although they do say the best sunsets in USVI are here on Water Island. I was talking to the captain of the boat here, and they were talking about hurricane season in the USVI, and they said it's really not a good time to be out here during summer when the hurricanes arrive.
Now we are in Yacht Haven.
So Yacht Haven is a popular place for people looking for some upscale restaurants, a nice area to walk around in the evening time during sunset. In the afternoon it can be a bit hot, but that doesn't stop cruise ship passengers from enjoying themselves. It is really close to the cruise ship area. You will notice, for those of you who are going to be arriving on Royal Caribbean or one of the major cruise liners that stop here. But even if you're not coming in with the cruise, you will find that they do events down here, and it might be a good place for you to consider doing some fine dining. And as you drive around this area of Charlotte Amalie, you will notice it is probably the most built up in terms of modern infrastructure. They do have a few other attractions, which we will be showing you here next, like the Paradise Point area. You have the Sky Ride. It's $24.95 for adults, $16.95 for kids. If you wanted to include the Sky Ride and a museum, which could be a better value, that would be around $40.95. Now, something interesting to point out, they say this is the best view in the Caribbean. I don't know about that, because I've seen some pretty amazing views on St. Lucia and some other islands, but hey, at least it's got a great view, right?
Now we're on the east side of the island. This is Red Hook.
Red Hook is the main area for a ferry port to get to St. John. It's not the only one on the island, but it is the main one. Also, you're a lot closer to St. John from here. They have several different restaurants. They also have a marina wharf area where you can get some fishing charters and catch a private boat out and about around the USVI from here. Probably the most laid back area on St. John to chill out. Parking can be limited, and it can be a little bit chaotic when ferry boats are coming in and out. All right, so we've driven the car on the boat here. You gotta back it in. It's a barge, and it's $65 US one day. They take cash only, and yeah, we'll see how long it takes, but so far so good. So I've driven the rental car onto the barge here from St. Thomas at Red Hook to go to St. John, Cruz Bay. It's $65 round trip, so we'll see how it goes. They only take cash. The total amount of time it took was around 25 minutes each way, so not that bad and really efficient. I like it. You can also just show up to St. John and take some of the taxis around, although I just found it easier to bring the rental car. The area where the car ferry arrives and the other passenger ferries, two different areas, but mostly you could say Cruz Bay, and that's what we're going to look at now. So this is Cruz Bay. They've got a few different restaurants, some hotels down here. Really, this is the biggest town on all of St. John, so it's the commercial center, industrial area, and where you get the immigration processing to go from BVI to USVI or vice versa.
We have now arrived at Trunk Bay.
Now that we're on St. John, we're just going to show you some of the popular beaches. This is Trunk Bay, as I said. There is an admission fee for some of these beaches, others are free. I would say the top three beaches we're going to show you here are all on the north side of St. John, but Trunk Bay is definitely one of my favorites, along with Cinnamon Bay next door to here. Be very close nearby, but we're going to show you some more as we continue to go around and other activities on St. John. So this is kind of like some bonus information for those of you visiting St. Thomas who do intend to head over to St. John. The day I was on St. John was the day of the eclipse, and it was overcast.
We've arrived at the Annaburg sugar plantation.
There's a couple different sugar plantation ruins on the island of St. John. This one here in Annaburg was probably the best one that I've seen, but there's a couple different hikes you can find going up to these old sugar mills or these plantations. Annaburg is really what feels like a stone throw away from Tortola. You can really see Tortola quite close from here, but either way, it's a totally different country, so you can't easily get there.
Number one beach is Maho Bay.
Now, when I say the number one beach, that's because this is probably the most sought after beach for tourists to arrive onto St. John. I told you that I prefer Trunk Bay as my favorite, but Maho Beach seems to be where everyone gravitates towards. And it's very calm waters. It's like the Magens Bay of St. John. A lot less parking though. They have a couple food trucks nearby. This is really quite far away from Cruz Bay. It's probably a 20 to 25 minute drive because the road's winding around this part of St. John, very slow paced. Do keep in mind finding hotel accommodation or Airbnbs on St. John is limited and it can be quite pricey. So doing one of these day trips from St. Thomas seems to make the most sense.
This one here is my favorite, Cinnamon Bay.
Uh-oh, we got a problem. I found another one of my favorite beaches on St. John. You can see, just depending on the day and your mood, any one of these beaches can be your favorite, whether it's Maho Bay, Trunk Bay, Cinnamon Bay, really all just great places to hang out. You could spend a whole afternoon at any one of these and feel very content, especially if you're one of those types of people who just likes to relax and unwind at a beach. All of these beaches on St. John that we've shown you can get that job done perfectly for you. Some additional activities that you can do on St. John: rent a kayak, rent a stand-up paddleboard, maybe even consider renting a boat. People just rent boats out here, so that's something to do.
We are in Frenchtown where they've got fresh fish that you can prepare.
So if you are looking for daily fresh catch fish for your barbecue or for frying fish at night, come on out here to Frenchtown and check out the fish market. They'll descale it, they'll cut it open and fillet it for you right here, and then you can take it home. And on that note, Island Hoppers, we're going to conclude St. Thomas here. We're going to show you around BVI next, so do be sure to watch that video. I'll put the links to those right here at the end. So thank you everyone for watching, liking, subscribing, and continuing to support this channel as we show you around the world.